Good evening, everyone. Hope you're doing well this evening. I just wanted to take a few minutes here to actually shoot a video, just chilling episode number 3, we're going to call this. And I know it's been a while since I've shot a video, a just chilling episode, but wanted to do this just totally unscripted this evening. And today's date is May 19th of 2021. And been getting a little bit of rest lately, trying to catch up on some rest from the semester and from the spring semester, and trying to work on my PhD proposal and just keep the flow going here in Starkville, Mississippi. So I figured I might as well just go for a night drive and tell you guys what's been going on. I'd also like to talk to you a little bit about tornado safety. Just have a very raw, candid conversation with you about tornado safety. You know, most of you probably know the basics of tornado safety. Tornado safety in the conventional sense, of course, the conventional stuff is good, right? I'm not saying at all that the conventional stuff is bad or misleading. It's absolutely not. You know, center part of your house or business on the lowest floor, away from windows, that kind of stuff always will be good. That stuff, you know, all that stuff is required for you to stay safe during tornadoes. Always follow it. But there's some other things, some more unconventional things that I think would be great for us to cover in a candid conversation about tornado safety. Of course, with it being the 19th of May, the bulk of the tornado season here in the Southeast is obviously behind us. You know, we had the event, the significant event back on March 25th, where we had 5 EF3 tornadoes, or 4 EF3s and 1 EF4 officially. I personally feel like that tornado in Noonan, Georgia was an EF3. Looking at some of the damage, some of the contextual evidence, damage indicators and things like that, I personally believe that was an EF3. We'll talk more about that at another time, because right now I want to keep on topic for the most part if I can. But yeah, so some unconventional things. Some things that are floating around. Some of it's in the literature. Some of it's just hearsay. Some of it's, you know, speculative. A lot of what I'm going to tell you here is probably really could be considered speculative. So definitely take it with a grain of salt. But, excuse me, I'm battling allergies a little bit here, with it being mid-spring. But yeah, let's just jump on into it. So I'll just lead you off with one of the most interesting ones that I have found. So mobile homes. You guys know that manufactured homes in the Deep South is a huge contributor to fatalities in tornadoes in the United States. And I believe the statistic goes that roughly 40% of the fatalities in the United States from tornadoes occur in mobile homes or are mobile home related, which is a staggering number. It really is, and we really need to do some things to see those numbers come down. And mobile home residents also need to people that live in manufactured housing need to take some extra steps so that we can see those numbers fall. It's a two-way street. You know, there's some things that we need to do from the social science perspective, and there's also some things that we need to see done for mobile home residents. Anyhow, with it being that high, 40%, that is one of the most interesting things to me in the weather enterprise, because tornadoes obviously is what I study, and so that's where the bulk of the fatalities are in the manufactured housing. So I want to see what we can do to help reduce that. Obviously, tornadoes and mobile homes don't go together. I've seen EF1 tornadoes completely destroy a mobile home. If they're more solidly built, you know, you might just in extremely well tied down. You might see with the foundation, the base of the mobile home strapped down just right, properly. You might see only the roof and some significant damage to the mobile home with an EF1. In other cases, there was a case in Belmina, Alabama. I'll just give you an example. Belmina, Alabama, back on December 16th of 2008, an EF1 tornado completely destroyed a mobile home in Belmina, Alabama. And I'm sure there's many other examples of that happening in the southeast. But that's just one that comes to mind. Belmina, Alabama is in Limestone County, north central part of the state, in Alabama. And and I remember that day very well, because later that afternoon I went storm surveying, or early that evening I went surveying right after the tornado hit, and there was a vehicle that was in nearly perfect condition. It had a little bash in on the passenger side door, and other than that it was perfectly fine, sitting at the residence of that destroyed mobile home. And so that makes you wonder, well, you know, I don't think there was anybody hurt there. I don't think there was anyone injured. I think they were gone. But anyway, that makes you wonder, in that particular case, the vehicle would have been safer than the mobile home. Now, I know this is a hot button topic right here. This has been talked about for decades in the weather community, in the meteorological community, whether or not vehicles are safer than mobile homes. And obviously, I should preface before I go any further, I need to preface it with this. I would not take shelter in a vehicle if I were you. You know, there's lots of evidence that says that vehicles aren't safe. That goes without, needless to say that. I really shouldn't have to say it. But yeah, there was another case in Henderson Mountain, I believe Henderson Mountain, Georgia. I believe that's Bartow County. Don't hold me to that, but I believe that's Bartow County, Georgia, or Lumpkin. It's one or the other. And Henderson Mountain, Georgia, Palm Sunday, March 27th, 1994. If you go and you read there's a paper by Schmidlin and King that was written right after that tornado outbreak, the Palm Sunday tornado outbreak. There was an entire family of 5 that died in a mobile home in Henderson Mountain, Georgia, on March 27th, 94, at 12:30 in the afternoon. And the vehicle was in perfect condition, very minor damage in the front lawn there. And so that just makes you wonder, if you are faced with a situation where you have to take shelter and you couldn't have made it anywhere else. You know, there's no tornado shelter nearby, no community storm shelter or in-ground shelter or a permanent home that you could have gone and sought shelter in. Probably the best thing for you to do in that situation, if there's no other way for you to take shelter and you find yourself in a mobile home, is to go and get in that vehicle and hunker down. Now, I know that that's going to be, I know there's probably going to be some folks that are going to come at me over that, and that's fine. But notice what I said, and I prefaced it with this: if there's no other place you can take shelter. Rarely is that going to be the case, you know, that you're in a mobile home and you couldn't have gone somewhere else in time. There may be some instances where that's the case. You know, that's going to happen. There's too many different scenarios to count, right? Different possible scenarios in life that could play out in a situation like that. But in a short fuse situation like a tornado warning. Anyhow, I did want to mention that. And there's also another example, a third one I'll throw out there. Back on December 16th of 2019, near Town Creek, Alabama, in Lawrence County, northern Lawrence County, Alabama, there was a case where very sadly, an 11-year-old boy lost his 2 parents. A very sad situation there that afternoon. And from a high-end EF2 tornado. It was like 1 mile an hour below EF3. And the vehicle, I believe it was rolled once or twice, and it had majority of the windows blown out, but was very much intact. Obviously, high-end 2 is not going to, totally crumple a vehicle in most cases. And they probably, I say probably, would have stood a better chance of surviving in that Suburban. Again, I know this is highly controversial, so hear me please. You know, I really don't recommend taking shelter in a vehicle if you're in a mobile home, unless it is your last option. If it is the only option you have, if there's no shelter nearby, that's better. That would be probably your best option. So yeah, that's one scenario that's kind of unconventional, so to say. Another would be, what do you do if you find yourself in a big box chain store, like a Walmart or a Target, Sam's Club, Publix, you know, any of those really, Costco, a grocery store chain or retail chain, big box stores. What do you do? Well, you have several options. Obviously, they typically have a predetermined tornado plan, a plan of action in place. The store management does, where the chain management will have all that figured out beforehand. But in some cases, you know, they don't. And the biggest thing, obviously, for you is to be aware and to have, you know, several ways of receiving warnings. Have your cell phone, no weather radio. You can have that pocket no weather radio on you on a severe weather day, etc. And they'll more than likely make an announcement in the store, or they could. It's not for sure that they will. But walk-in coolers are good, guys. You know, you can ask store management, you know, there's a tornado warning, where's the best place to go? And truthfully, that may or may not be the best place to go, but sometimes I guess it would be just best to trust management on that. But a walk-in cooler is, generally speaking, it's anchored to the slab most times. It's typically a pretty insulated, thick structure that could help you building within a building, so to say. You could look at it like that, a walk-in cooler, most of them. And that help protect you. Or sometimes there could be like a dressing room or something like that. Anything that could help put more walls between you and the outside and above you. Anything like that could help you in a situation like that. A dressing room, some kind of large, thick display, something you could crawl up in or under. If the roof collapses and there's junk flying around and falling down on you or near you, that could help protect you. That's a possibility. You know, obviously another possibility would be for you to leave, you know, and go seek shelter somewhere else that you feel more protected, like at a hotel. A lot of hotels, you can just walk in, you know, and go to the lowest floor, away to the center part of the building, on the lowest floor, away from windows in the hallway, and that probably would offer you a lot of protection. You'd probably be very safe there at a large hotel. Many hotels do offer very good protection. One of the worst things you can do, I remember in the Joplin, Missouri tornado on May 20, you guys have to forgive me, May 26 of 2011, the F5 tornado that went through Joplin, Missouri. There were a lot of folks that died. There were some folks that died in the Home Depot store there that were near the front of the store. And obviously you definitely don't want to be there. There was a paper that was written, actually several of the journal articles, the academic papers, one of them that was written discussing the fatalities in the Joplin tornado. And one of the most interesting things that they found was that there was a disproportionately large number of fatalities within commercial buildings, like the big box chains and restaurants and stuff that we're talking about here, the commercial outlets and the retail stores. And I think that's one of the biggest things, is to be aware and to get out from the front of the store and get under something heavy, a big display, a walk-in cooler, a freezer, something like that. You know, if you have to, take stuff out, man, and crawl up in somewhere, you know, and in order to protect yourself. You know, anything like that could help save your life. And so yeah, most definitely, that's if you're in a big box store situation, that's a good idea there. Sometimes the bathrooms are safe, but not all the time. Sometimes, you know, I think a lot of us have that bathroom mentality when there's a tornado coming. We're seeking shelter from a tornado. The bathrooms are safe. That may be the case in a lot of instances, but it's not the case in all. in some of these big box stores and in some homes, the bathroom is located on an exterior wall. And if that's the case, you probably don't want to find yourself there, if you can help it. And an interior closet or hallway would be better in a case like that. And so just keep that in mind. Let's see, what else can we discuss? Yeah, so another one would be, what if you're in the middle of the city, in a congested city, and there's a tornado warning, and you need to find a place to go? And, just a moment ago we spoke about the hotels. Hotels are oftentimes very good, offer very good protection. You can get on the lowest floor in the hallway, away from windows. And, you may have to put up with a little bit of crowd there because everybody else is probably going to be doing the same thing, but it could save your life. So hotel is a pretty good idea. Let's see, what else? Yeah, another one would be to find that walk-in cooler or a bank. So banks have vaults, as you guys know, and they may or may not allow patrons to go into the bank. So if it's a bad enough situation and you flee into a bank, they might let you into the vault. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that worked out favorably for you. And the walk-in cooler situation. My wife used to work at Chick-fil-A in North Alabama, there in Madison, and that was their safe place, was the walk-in cooler there, for reasons that we've already discussed in this video. So there's that. But yeah, so if you find yourself in the middle of a metropolitan area in a city and there's a tornado warning and you need to take shelter, definitely don't just keep driving unless you're really close to where you can take shelter. Because we know what happened on November 15th, 1989. I know in Huntsville, Alabama. I know that's an extreme example, but 21 people lost their lives, in Madison County, Alabama, when that F4 tornado went through there in November 15th, 1989. So, yeah, I think it was like 13 people died between the intersection within a 1 mile strip of road of high-dollar real estate there in Huntsville in their vehicles. And so, yeah, most definitely, if there's a warning, get to shelter in one of those positions I just mentioned. I may think of some other scenarios here that we can cover. I mean, it's hard to be able to think of them all. I just wanted to cover some of these with you guys. It's been a while since I've done a video, and wanted to talk about this. Yeah, so malls typically have a very designated shelter area. Malls are typically a very safe place, so that's another option for you. And actually, guys, I should mention this: mobile home residents. If you have nowhere to go, but you have a mall within 10, 15, 20 miles of you, drive there and spend as much time as if you can, as much time as you can until the threat passes. That would be an excellent spot for you to seek shelter. Most malls are very well built structures, and or even a hospital. You can go hang out, at the waiting room at a hospital if you have to. Anything to keep yourself safe. The library. Many libraries are very well built municipal buildings, and so if you're in a home, site-built home that you don't feel comfortable in, or a mobile home, those places would be excellent places for you to go and hang out, or some other sort of municipal building. A lot of churches are well built too. You could consider that, and know where your designated shelters are for your community. You could possibly use one of those as an option for you. Okay, so yeah, just a few ideas on tornado safety, guys. Tornado safety, you just never know what situation you might find yourself in and when you need some of this information. And honestly, there's one more scenario I could throw at you. What if you're outside somewhere in the woods? Say you've been camping and you're in the middle of nowhere. Try to find a ravine, a ditch, and somewhere where you can hold on to a tree, the base of a tree, There's several stories that I can think of people holding on to the bases of trees and surviving direct hits from tornadoes, even violent tornadoes. If, you know, the cards have to land in your favor probably in that kind of situation, but you can survive. At Wichita Falls, Texas, from April 10th, 1979, there was a lady that actually held on to the base of a tree in the middle of that F4 tornado and survived there in Wichita Falls. So yeah, if you're camping or at like a Boy Scout camp or something like that, obviously if they have predetermined safety rules or procedures, follow those. But if you're caught out in the open on your own, and you're on your own to survive, find a low spot, cave if you can, obviously, a low spot, and grab a hold of something if you can, unless the ditch or ravine is deep enough to where you feel like the wind will pass directly over you. The wind won't have much reach, so to say, you know, down in there to affect you. Okay, so I sure hope these tips have helped, guys. I enjoy making these videos, and I definitely plan on making more down the road. Let me think one more time if there's anything else we can talk about. Like I say, this is totally unscripted. I don't have anything to go off of. I just wanted to have a candid chat with y'all this evening, because it's been a little while since we've talked. So if you guys have any ideas for any videos you'd like to see me make, let me know. And yeah, one more thing, and I know this is, you know, this is actually becoming more controversial since the last time I even made a video like this. But tornado sirens. You know, a lot of these municipalities, guys, are taking their tornado sirens down. I feel like that's going to become a problem. And I really feel like that eventually we're going to know it's a problem when we have another major catastrophic tornado outbreak. Now, I'm not saying super outbreak, although I think that would do the trick. I think that would reveal the frailties in the infrastructure where these cities have taken their tornado sirens down. And I think time will probably reveal that. You know, I'm going to probably start to speak more boldly about this. I really sincerely feel that it's a mistake that we're taking the tornado sirens down. And I have a bad intuitive feeling that eventually something is going to happen. And I hope I'm wrong, but like a mass, you know, some sort of mass catastrophe. And we should have left those sirens up. I sure hope I'm wrong, but time will tell on that. But yeah, guys, okay. So I'll go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for listening, and y'all take care. Bye-bye.